What's up, guys? I'm Chris Eaton, and this is episode 98. We're almost at 100 of Snakes and a Fat Man. Whoa, this is a short one. Morph Market has officially launched its first version of its new local section. This is a game changer, and it's something that has never been available for the reptile community. You can find any species near you and not only save on shipping costs, but you also get to support local breeders and see the animals in person, similar to what you'd experience at a reptile expo. That's it. Really quick one today. Go check out the new local section at morphmarket.com. All right, what's going on with Redline? Turns out the same thing as last month. But anyway, Redline Shipping continues its race to the top of the reptile shipping world, pushing for #1 by the summer of 2023. Something tells me they're gonna do it. Redline Shipping has a modern website that is smooth, fast, and easy to use. And Redline offers fantastic shipping discounts for all your live, reptile, aquatic, and invert shipping needs. You could ship your merchandise and other dry goods with Redline Shipping as well. That's what I did. And discounts are available for all services: overnight, second day, 3-day, and ground. Jesus, don't pay attention to my voice. I got a little bit of a sore throat. You know what they say is good for that, but I ain't doing it. Anyway, Redline Shipping offers on-time live arrival insurance and world-class customer service. Partnered with NARBC, Redline Shipping is the gold standard for live shipping services. If you're getting a custom discount from one of the other shipping competitors, reach out to Redline and let them try and beat that discount to win your business and support. You are better off red. As we leave winter, head into spring, and approach summer, don't forget to pay close attention to the Redline Shipping guidelines for temperatures and guidelines for heat pack use. This could be a tricky time of year for temperature regulation, so it's important to follow Redline guidelines for safe and healthy live arrival. You can reach Redline staff at support@redlineshipping.com with any temperature, heat pack, or packaging questions. They are there to support you. Better off red, bitch. All right, use code ROBIN60 for 60% off the FedEx retail rate on your first 2 shipments. That's 2. And once you use that coupon, use the code FATMAN5 right there for an additional $5 off your already discounted price on another shipment. Join Team Redline and be better off red. RedlineShipping.com. So I just got back from Tennessee, and honestly, I didn't realize how much I needed the break until I got there. I gotta be honest with you guys, prior to this trip, I was just looking forward to a non-working vacation and just hanging out with Shane Kelly, Brittany Gobble, Roger and Lori Gray, even Brian Carter. And I wanted to meet all the other Tennessee people that I'm just Instagram friends with. I was actually thinking that I was going through some kind of creative burnout. And look, I know how gay that sounds. Like, oh, Chris, you're tired of doing your fucking made-up job that nobody gives a fuck about. But anyway, I was going through some kind of burnout because, like, let's face it, this hobby will suck the will to live right out of you. It's an easy hobby to fall in love with because of the animals, but it's a hard hobby to stay in love with because of some of the people. You've heard me say it a million times that most of the people in this hobby suck. But what I realized last week is that most of the people in this hobby don't suck. Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, what it really does is it gives the small vocal minority of assholes a place to scream and shout. So I just realized, scream and shout all you want, because Instagram isn't a real fucking place. Neither is Facebook. Neither is YouTube, as much as you guys think they are. They're fictional places where morons could validate other morons and tell them what a great job they're doing. It's a hard thing to tune out, but I'm working on it, all right? I'm fucking working on it. I'm trying to not bitch so much because the people in Tennessee were fucking so cool with me. Every single one of the people that I hung out with last week were interesting people with fucking awesome stories to tell. And within a few days of being there, I actually wanted to sit down with them and record something with them and interview them and get to know them better. If I'm being completely honest with you, I'm not a fan of this hobby. Okay, I'm a fan of people with interesting stories to tell. The problem is that a ton of people in this hobby have a ton of interesting stories to tell. So I guess I'm a fan of the hobby on the periphery. If I could get these people to just tell their stories and make you guys laugh every now and again, or maybe learn something every now and then, I'm happy. So that being said, I know that you guys have noticed a couple of changes this year on the Snakes and the Fat Man channel. One of them being the Sunday Hot Woman show, and the other being Bronx Down Under. And I have a new series coming out at the end of this week called the No More Balls Tour, where I actually go and meet people and talk about their experiences with the animals. It's a little bit different than this main show, but it's fun to actually sit down with people in person and listen to them just talk their shit and tell their stories and be funny. And I kind of think it's like a more personal show, but I mean, it's really only about 20 minutes per episode. And the point of this series is to go meet the actual breeders and have a sit down with them. And we're not going to show any animals because, face it, unless you're out there buying a $12,000 animal, there's always another ball python available. Wouldn't you rather get to know the person that you're gonna spend money with instead of just looking at every goddamn snake that they have? I mean, that's been done to death. I definitely don't want to contribute to another video on YouTube where I'm just showing off people's shit. I just want to sit down and get to know them. The thing is that if you know more about these people, aren't you more apt to spend money with them? I mean, aren't you more apt to realize that you have other things in common with them besides ball pythons or reptiles? And if you know that about them, I think that you're more willing to spend money with them because you actually like them on a personal level. I went to a local show in Tennessee last week and did one of these, and immediately I just wanted to do more. It kind of made me think like I was bringing something different to the table, and let's see if you guys like it. You know, like, speaking of doing things differently, I mean, that's the whole reason we came up with Bronx Down Under, and that really gave me a shot in the fucking ass to go out and do more of these things because I love that show. It's just me hanging out with two of the fucking best people that I know and just shooting the shit and making you laugh. And it doesn't matter, at least from our numbers, that it's not about reptiles because people are digging it. And in Tennessee, people were telling me that that's the best show that I do. So, you know, kind of a backhanded compliment, but I'll take it. The last thing I want to say is I feel that too many people are interviewing too many of the same breeders. So on this show, I'm subscribing to the one for you, one for me mentality to avoid burning out. I'm still going to be bringing you the best breeders in the hobby, but I'm going to even that out. And every other show, I'm going to have on musicians or directors or artists, just other people with other interesting stories to tell. I don't care if it's not reptile related. I've been doing this show for going on 8 years this year, okay? I think that I've earned the trust of you guys enough to kind of expand the audience a little bit and still keep it funny and interesting. And I really hope you guys come along for the ride. All right, let's see what's going on with the old Herps show circuit there down south. They're going to be in Pearland, Texas on May 6th and 7th. They're going to be in Lake Charles, Louisiana on June 3rd and 4th. They're going to be at the Big Show in Conroe. I'm really hoping to make it out for that one on June 10th and 11th. They're going to be in the old Shreveport, Louisiana on June 24th and 25th. They're going to stay in Louisiana on July 22nd and 23rd. They're going to be in Slidell. Then they're going to be in Oklahoma City on July 29th and 30th. Then they're going to be over at Corpus Christi on August 12th and 13th. Listen, you know what to do. Fucking go to a Herp show. Find Sean. Find Lori. Tell them what a great fucking job they're doing. Herpshow.net. I'm seeing a whole lot of new cocoa products on the scene these days. All of them trying to derail the ReptoTrain. Let me tell you something. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. ReptoChip won't be taken down, man. Especially with some of these stupid named cocoa products. That's all I'm saying. Go with the original. Go with the veteran. Go with the guy that actually gives back to the reptile community. Go with one of the guys that are in the running for one of the hottest male reptile breeders in the hobby. Get your asses over to ReptoChip.com and buy a brick or a bag or some fucking chunk. I don't care what you buy, just get on it. Listen guys, don't forget the contest is still open to win a 2023 Mertens Monitor from the legend Uncle Mike Stefani. Look up episode 97 for the rules to enter the contest, and if you can't follow the rules, don't fucking enter. Seems not to have stopped anybody though, because we have a ton of fucking entries. The winner's gonna be announced on the Fat Man Milestone, episode 100. I'm trying to put together something really cool for episode 100, and I think I figured out what to do. I think you guys are gonna like it. That's right. It's time to do the ad with my dumb honeymooners reference again. Are you ready? You guys ready? Say goodbye to spreadsheets. Say hello to Clutch. Hello, Clutch. This brand new cloud-based software makes managing your ball python collection simple. With Clutch, You can easily create, search, and filter your collection, visualize your projects with analytics and insights, keep track of past, present, and future clutches, and connect every customer with the perfect animal using an insane waitlist system. Head on over to clutch.io, that's CLTCH.io, to learn more and get ready to discover the power of your collection.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Hey guys, it's Justin at Canova. So in the past few years, Canova's become the top source for amazing ball pythons. Now Chris tells me, Justin, it's time to give back. So we're sponsoring the 15 Minutes of Lame to support the new and upcoming breeders. So jump in here, let's hear your ideas, let's hear your thoughts. Maybe you can turn your 15 minutes of lame into 20 years of lame, just like I did. If you want to be the man, you got to beat the man, so bring it.
15 Minutes of Lame!
I fucking just started talking to you and just got into it, so I forgot all about it.
All right, that was good practice. Let's go again.
Do you have 15 more minutes?
Oh man, I hope I'm as enthusiastic about the same questions.
Holy shit. You know what? We're just going to restart this right now. Go ahead, smoke them if you got them. All right. Ray and I finished a 15-minute fucking segment, and I forgot to hit the fucking record button because I just started talking to Ray and was vibing with him the entire time. So I just totally spaced out and forgot to hit the fucking record button. So now what we're going to do is we're going to skip what we talked about before because nobody gives a fuck. We're just going to talk, and we're not going to ask Ray the typical fucking questions because it was my fuck up. So we're going to use fucking 15 minutes to learn about Ray. Okay. So, but I am going to keep you to 15 minutes again, but we're going to start now.
Oh wait, here let's just update people real quick. Listen, on the fuck you segment, I got 6 fuck yous and I think it was 2 thumbs ups, right?
Right.
We talked about the top hat. I made my own top hat in honor of Chris. Check on my top hat.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it's not $400. It was about $12 to make it, but you know, it's looking fucking good.
Well, it's a little bit higher. It's more like it's like a pilgrim hat. You know?
Yeah, so I guess it could be a pilgrim hat. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, I fucking love that. And being in Florida, you better get a vented one like I have because you'll sweat your fucking ass off.
Oh, dude, this thing is going up on the shelf. I'll never wear it again. I'm fucking leaking right now.
All right, well, tell me about fucking. Let's just go over again. We'll give a brief history of Ray. This is going to be a different 15 minutes, so I just want to talk to Ray and find out how he became such a positive, like moving fucking force over the last couple of years. Because I was telling him nobody ever says anything about, and nobody says anything bad about Ray ever. So how did this whole positive thing come about?
Well, I basically had a fucking really difficult childhood. And I've been through the fucking mud and I've crawled my way out of it. And I never want to see people in those type of energy mindsets and emotions. So I just, I'm very mindful about how I speak and how it affects people. And I just want to like I said before in the other 15 minutes, like, I just want to be that, I just want to be that fucking light. Maybe in someone's dark world that says, hey, it doesn't have to be the way that it's been for you, and help people with their mindset and kind of thinking their way out of certain situations. So yeah, I just like,
right. It's a very I don't want to call it self-help mentality, but it's very Tony Robbins. Like you come into a place and you don't talk negative shit about anything. You
Well,
know,
yeah, yeah, I do. I do talk negative shit, and it's not really about specific people. It's more about just mindset and the way that people think about things, and how that looks. So
well, what did you think about the drama in this whole podcasting world the last couple of months? Because you're a big part of a lot of podcasts, and if you're not on it, you're in the chats or you're fucking working behind the scenes like you did at Keys. What was your mindset about these last 2 months with the bullying and the racism and the like everything else that came about? What are your thoughts on that?
it's fucking a
Because
waste.
because it could have been avoided so easily,
It's a
you
waste of
know?
fucking time, man. It's a waste of
Yeah,
time, and it's a bad look for everybody. At the end of
right,
the day, I always say if you have a fucking podcast, you are representing the industry on the front lines. You're the front lines. You're the face of our industry because people are going to find you on YouTube before they ever find somebody through Morph Market or on Instagram,
right.
right? So the way that you behave dictates, um, how people view us as an industry as a whole. So there's a big
Yeah.
responsibility that comes with it, whether you accept it or not. And it's a big fucking waste of time to be talking shit about somebody else. Like, if you have time to be talking shit about somebody else, that means that you're not spending that time on building your brand, building your business, focusing on what you could be doing better for yourself. It's counterproductive for yourself, and it's embarrassing for the industry. So I pay attention to everybody, man.
Well, yeah, I noticed that because you're everywhere, but yet you avoided the podcast whore moniker like Will's Hella Heat has, you know.
Yeah, he kind
So
of embraced that name, and that's
yeah,
okay. Teach their own.
yeah, he took it and ran with it. Yeah, fucking, he was just like whatever. So
Yeah.
um, he's actually doing a show now reviewing podcasts.
Well, yo,
So
that's a niche that hasn't been there. I mean, hopefully it's not too disrespectful and it doesn't bring him too much heat. But that could go sour or it could be great. Depends on
it's
how he decides to do it.
yeah, it's a niche, but it's a stupid niche because it's like we're doing this dumb made up job, and he made up a new job to critique our made up jobs.
Yeah,
Okay, and Will's no dummy. He knows that this is going to bring all sorts of drama because
yeah,
once he says something negative, let's say he's talking about me and he says something negative about me, all of my haters are going to come on and fucking say negative shit about me. If
yeah,
he says negative shit about Sean or MJ, all their haters are going to come on. So he's not stupid because it's probably going to get a lot of, views.
yeah.
But
It's just is that the light that you want to be standing in?
right. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's my thing with it. And I'm probably going to have him on just to fucking let him defend this, this brainchild of his and kind of debate him on it because I think that Will is definitely like one of those guys where any attention is good attention, you know.
well,
So
that's a lot of people, man, not just Will.
yeah,
If you really pay attention, like I was talking about this the other day. Somebody that gets bit in a video and that fucking video gets mad hits. Now every fucking video they're getting bit on purpose.
yeah,
It's like
of course,
attention whores. And I get it. You want attention and you want your name out there. And, in Hollywood, it's good or bad publicity is still good publicity, right? So,
right.
some people have
Well,
that mindset. I don't. I'd rather have no fucking attention for being myself than to be something outside of myself. For
right.
the
Well,
public.
remember, even Barcheck, 6-7 years ago, was doing bite videos and fucking big snakes attacking people, and he kind of saw that that's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
But these people now, like I'm not a fan of live feeding, but if you want to do live feeding, go ahead, fucking do it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people in Florida even who are really just doing things for clicks and views,
Yeah.
and the minute that one of these guys get killed by a venomous snake or fucking bit by an alligator or whatever, it's going to affect the entire industry as a whole. It's not going to affect just the Florida people.
Yeah, it's
you
already
know
affecting us. At the end of the day, you got all these politicians that probably have zero fucking animals trying to dictate how we keep or what we can keep and what we shouldn't be able to keep. And it's like, yo, fuck you guys. Like, you guys have a fucking facility down here in Florida for import export, and I don't see you guys talking about shutting down your own shit. But
Right,
so
right. Yeah, yeah. Well, God forbid, it's all it all doesn't matter until it affects you, right? But like even with that racism thing, when Antoine went on,
yeah,
Antoine even said he's like, listen, a bunch of bad shit happens in this hobby, but that's not my fight. Something that comes, that hits this close to home, like racism, I'm going to make it my fight, right?
right,
So I think that's the mentality of a lot of people. A lot of people just don't care. If I don't live in Florida, I don't give a shit what Florida people are doing.
yeah,
However, what Florida does is, if they want to ban venomous, they could ban venomous, and you'd be stupid to not think that fucking 20 other states aren't just going to hop on that, and it's going to affect those 20 other states also.
yeah. It's monkey see, monkey do. You know what I mean? And we're the tip of the fucking sword. So as soon as we
Right.
enter that rib cage, everyone's gonna follow that. So there is definitely need for U.S. ARC over here and U.S. ARC Florida, and for people to actually step up in front of these legislators and say, hey, you guys are fucking dumb. In nicer words.
Well, yeah, more professional. Yeah.
Yeah, more professional than that. But
Just show up in court and be like, you guys are fucking stupid, right?
yeah,
And
you
then
guys
I'm
don't
like,
even own animals. What the fuck are you saying? You don't know anything, idiots.
oh my fucking god. Are you just a ball python keeper at this point?
Yeah. As far as reptiles go, yeah, I only have ball pythons. I got fur babies and shit like that, and that's
Right.
about it. Yeah.
And how big is your family?
I got 4 kids, a granddaughter, and my girl.
See, you look fucking 28 years old, man. You don't look like fucking old enough to be, except for the gray little Fu Manchu thing. Fucking yeah, you got a fucking little baby face, and you don't look like you could have fucking grandkids. But 4, man, you're pretty much firing straight all the time, huh? Your
Dude,
partner,
I got a 2.2.
right?
I got a 18-year-old daughter, a 16-year-old son, a 14-year-old daughter, and my little straggler, awesome little man. That's 7. He'll be 7 this
Right,
month.
right. And you were saying your whole family is an animal family before
Yeah,
I
yeah. Yeah,
record.
we love animals, man. The kids love the snakes. They help me out with it. My oldest daughter invested in a snake with me. My son has a couple snakes. So yeah, it's cool. They give me shit because I got to feed off the rodents, but like I said before, if I could feed them fucking carrots, I would, right?
Right. Yeah. They don't eat Doritos, man. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's like, fucking, come on. And um, do you have an aspiration to be Canova big, or are you happy with small time, boutique kind of breeding?
Yeah, I want to do boutique breeding, man. I think the Canova size is awesome for the people that want to go down that road, and it's a lot of work that goes into that. I would like to have more of like a Ozzy Boyd approach where I have something manageable that I could do myself if I really wanted to, or maybe one other person to help me out.
Right.
Focusing on more, um, top tier, top shelf type projects is what I want to focus on. And like I said in the other 15 minutes, like the triples and the double recessives and stuff like that is my focus. So I'm really honed in on the long game.
Yeah.
So you won't see too much from me in the next like 2-3 years as far as snake production. But when I do hit the block, I'm gonna hit that shit hard. So I'm excited.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you're really going off like a 5 to 10 year plan,
Yeah.
and not even expecting any return, until that first kind of milestone has been hit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wish more people would think like you, because more people are thinking, I'm going to get these 2 snakes, I'm going to get rich.
Yeah. I don't want to compete with 3,000 other people to sell a fucking $200 snake.
Right.
I'd rather compete with fucking 30 people for $2,000 snakes and up.
Right.
When it comes to business, competition. Real quick, since we only got like 2 minutes left, if it's okay with you, can I plug
Well,
something?
we have 322, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plug away, man. Plug anything you want.
So I am going to be starting a podcast. We talked about it in the other 15 minutes. It's going to be called My Favorite Reptile Podcast, and I just think that's awesome because, it's like even if you hate it, what are you gonna tell people? Like, I fucking hate my favorite reptile podcast. Like, it just makes good sense. So I'm excited for that. That should be dropping soon. I'm gonna be, I don't want to do what everybody else does. So I want to focus more on business, and I want to focus on the details of the business and the mindset behind the moves that they're making. I don't want to just scratch the surface like everybody else. So I've been talking to some big breeders, and I've been getting some advice on different perspectives of my questionnaire, basically, and how to go into it. So look out for that sooner than later. That's gonna be dope.
And is the channel already set up on YouTube? Could I go subscribe now?
You can go subscribe to Alluring Serpents on YouTube. I don't have too much content up there yet, but that's where the show's going to be on. So you could go on the YouTube and subscribe and look for it shortly, sooner than later. Also,
Okay.
I'm working on. So this is the thing, right? I don't have a lot of production as far as snakes go, so I don't have anything for sale for snakes. But that doesn't mean that I can't contribute to the industry. So I'm doing the clothing. I'm going to start the podcast. We're doing the snakes. I'm breeding rodents for, my local community because these fucking rodent breeders out here suck and you can never get anything that you want. But also I'm working on a water solution that goes into the rodent water to reduce the ammonia in the bins of the rodents, which will extend the life of the bedding for the rodents. So that's something that's pretty cool, man. I think I got it figured out and dialed in. I got to tweak some things a little bit. And then I got to figure out, how to brand it, start the LLC. I
How to
got
get
some,
the production of it,
yeah, it's working. I mean, I've had other breeders come over and stick their face in a controlled bin and be like, holy shit, that's fucking horrible. And then
Right.
stick their face in a bin that hasn't been changed in 5 weeks with like a 1.4 in it. And they're like, dude, it smells like rat shit, but I don't smell any ammonia. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. So
And how do you plan on producing it at scale?
These are all little details that I have to figure out. So the first tier was me, okay, let's test it and see if I can do it. So I got one control bin and one test bin. Now that worked out good. I ran it for 5 weeks, no ammonia smell. Fantastic. So now I upped it and now I'm doing a 4-bin rack. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to affect the rats having babies or their production. And I actually found some pinkies in one of the bins like 2 days ago. So
okay.
Yeah, so everything is kind of running really smooth right now, and it's just like leveling up and leveling up and leveling up until I'm ready to hit the market with it. And I think that's going to be huge, man. That's going to be huge for a lot of people because you got people breeding rodents in their apartments and their houses, and that ammonia smell. Some people got to wear painters masks to fucking go in there.
Patrick over at Dragon Soul,
yeah, he's all messed up. He looks like a fucking graffiti artist when he's in there cleaning shit.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, well, fucking listen, your time's up. But fucking, I'm not gonna buzz you. I'm not gonna buzz you. Okay, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, awesome, man.
I'm not gonna buzz the nicest guy that came out of the industry in the last 3 or 4 years. So it's just not gonna happen.
Appreciate that, man.
The clothing thing,
yeah,
man. Your fucking shirts are fucking hot as fuck, man. It's very fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Are you pulling a profit on the shirts yet or no?
Yeah, I make a couple dollars on each one. It's not really so much about making a killing on the clothing. It's more about, making something that's cool, man, that people want to see. It's not just fucking a basic logo on there, like
right.
It's not one of those, hey, let me send you a bunch of free shirts. Like I can't send you a bunch of free shirts. I make these fucking things myself.
Right.
And that's the thing, like there's going to be a lot of different styles coming out for females, for males, maybe jogger suits, like all kinds of stuff, man, some hats and things like that. But yeah, I do everything myself. So it's going to take me time to get to that point. But the cool thing is like on the t-shirts, it's not just about my brand, right? So I let you customize what color font you want. And on top of that, I'll add your logo or your business name or your personal name on the shirt itself. So it's more about us instead of just me.
Right.
Yeah, let's learn together, let's grow together is how I feel about it.
It's a great fucking idea, man. And it's great. And also you're one of those guys, you remind me a lot about JT, a lot of JT from ReptoChip, because when he goes on somebody's show, he spends the entire interview blowing up other people. And
so
fucking that's one of the best things. And I don't understand how that hasn't caught on yet. but you're one of those guys that do that. Like fucking, you're like, yeah, I'm on, so the attention is getting on me, but I'm gonna also promote my friends. I'm gonna promote my fucking people that you know are doing this, and
Yeah.
I honestly love that, man. I mean,
Yeah, that's why the Usual Suspects are so cool, man. Like, we're just a group of like-minded people, and it's not that we think we're better than anybody else, but you know, we just put a label on our friendship, and that's why we call it the Usual Suspects. You know.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea. I showed up for one of those, and I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it because it was going to be absolute chaos.
Sometimes it is, yeah.
And it was not, man. I had a great time.
Yeah, we had a great time with you, man. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Terrence invited me back next week, so I'm gonna pop by again next week.
Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, it's basically like all of us sitting in a fucking living room shooting this shit. You know, we're just not close enough to actually do that, so we got to do it via StreamYard.
Right. That's exactly the reason that I started my Zoom call. You know, because there was, you know, COVID. You couldn't get together. You see people only 3 or 4 times a year. Now you could get together every week. You know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a good thing. Ray, thank you so much for taking the time, man. I appreciate it. I know you're busy because you do 15 podcasts a fucking week, and it is what it is. But fucking thank you for taking the time to do this one, man. I appreciate it.
Man, I abundant gratitude. I appreciate you bringing me on here. It's gonna be fun doing the 15 minutes of lame contest with all the homies. You know, you got Holly on here. You got Terrence on here. Yeah, you got some friends on here, so we're all going to be competing with each other. But you know, I have an idea of how I'm going to move forward with it, and it's probably not even going to be about me. It's going to be great.
Dude, it's going to be so much fun this year, especially with the people coming on and how Leviathan kind of raised the bar last year. It's really going to be fun, man. So thank you again, my friend. I fucking love having you on. You have an open invite to come on this show whenever you want. You know that, brother.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. I appreciate that, big dog, and lots of success to you, big dog. And I appreciate I appreciate what you do for the industry. You know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the fact that you appreciate it.
No doubt.
Go follow Alluring Serpents on Instagram, on fucking YouTube. Definitely check out his new show when it fucking drops on Facebook. You got
my favorite reptile podcast.
My favorite reptile podcast. Fucking, that's coming in a couple of weeks, right?
I don't know if it's gonna be a couple of weeks. I still got some things I got to figure out. Maybe I could talk to you about some of those details, and you could give me some pointers and tips.
You got it, brother. Fucking thank you again, my friend.
Not a problem, man. Appreciate you.
Take it easy. All right.
Talk to you later.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Snakes in the Batman proudly brings to you its new breeder segment, 15 Minutes of Lame!
Listen, guys, Steward Design doesn't just create logos, they build brands. What do I mean by this? Well, your brand has both a verbal and visual side. Think of this as your brand message and brand image. Your brand message is what initially draws clients to you and continually generates new business. After that, the quality of your product and service keeps them coming back and retains them. Without effective messaging, you're only going to be connecting with a small percentage of the clients you could be connecting with. Your brand message helps you clearly define who you are, how are you different from your competitors, what value you offer to your clients, and why potential clients should choose you over others. For this reason, Steward Design always starts branding projects by developing your brand's message first. Creating a logo without understanding why and how it needs to look is only going to hold your company back and should be considered fucking malpractice. Steward Design starts by clarifying your goals, audience, and industry. Then they form your messaging. After that, they strategically determine what colors, styles, and fonts make the most sense to use. And then finally, how the logo needs to look and function. You see, the visual identity of a company should be a natural result of proper strategy. Because the question really shouldn't be, do I like this? It should be, will this work? Steward Design figures out what will actually work and provides you with a true investment to grow your business. When done right, it should attract the right people and it should reflect your business properly. It should make your company more memorable and it should build trust and credibility with your clients. On the other hand, if it's done poorly, it could do the exact opposite. It could make you look amateur and can actually deter your business. Don't settle for a fucking idiot that simply offers you a cheap logo. Build your brand the right way. Bring out your best so you could get it right from the start and finally move out of your mother's fucking basement, crush it at Tinley, Pomona, or Arlington, and build a life for yourself doing what you love. Contact Steward Design today. You could reach them at stewarddesignbrands.com. Again, that's stewarddesignbrands.com. So because of the way I look, a lot of people think that I'm into metal. And I'm really not into metal. I like some metal bands like Maiden and Priest, but I'm really a blues guy. I cut my teeth learning how to play guitar on the blues. I spent years in blues and blues rock bands, playing everything from Muddy Waters and Stevie Ray Vaughan all the way up to Aerosmith and Zeppelin. When I was first learning how to play guitar, I think I was 14 or 15. I had a friend of mine that was 22 teaching me how to play. And after a month, he took me down to Manny's Car Wash Blues in Manhattan and told me to go up on stage and play with the house band because it was an open jam night. And I was fucking terrified. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna sit down with these guys and fucking play a song because I've been playing for a fucking month, man. He said, go up and play with them or I'm leaving you here and I'm driving home alone. And he was the kind of guy that didn't make idle threats, right? So I was terrified and I went up and played with the house band and dude, I sucked so bad. But I got that ride home, and ever since that night, I've been playing fucking the blues. Well, I mean, until I had the stroke. So I was looking for some blues art for my apartment, and I came across Grego Anderson of MojoHand online. And since I've met this guy, I've bought like 8 pieces of art from him. I just fell in love with his style of painting, and I just thought he would be an interesting guy to have on the show because maybe you guys will fall in love with it too. And it turns out he's a blues guitar player too. Here's my one-on-one with Grego Anderson of MojoHand.com. What's up, everybody? Look who I have here. I have a Southern gentleman from Texas by way of Michigan. Grego Anderson, MojoHand, this fucking insane blues visual artist that I have multiple pieces from in my house. I just wanted to have him on the show and introduce him to everybody. What's up, Grego?
How you doing, Chris, man? Thank you so much for having me on today.
Dude, it's no problem, man. Well, once you said yes, like you're an actual artist, I was like, why does he want to do this dumb dick and fart joke show? And I was like, let me just grab onto it and have him on. Now, just tell everybody what you do real quick. Give me the MojoHand elevator pitch.
The real quick pitch is 20 years ago, I started a little company called MojoHand.com. And my idea was to take my visual art of blues musicians, the people that I love, and kind of show it to the world, right? I mean, there was no place for me to buy cool blues t-shirts or posters or anything. And I was making them myself. So I assumed that there were like-minded people, and it turned out that was accurate.
Well, that's what the internet does, right? It puts you together with the like-minded people. We were just talking about that. And how many pieces did you start out with? Because obviously, right now, you have about 100 on the website. What did you start out with, and what made you think this could be something that I enjoy making a living at?
Well, when I first started, I had just bought a house and I didn't have the money to buy a bunch of pictures to hang up in there. Right. It was just this empty house with this terrible pink shag carpeting that thank God I ripped out at some point. But so, yeah, I had a bunch of wood left over because I'd replaced the fence. And I chopped all that wood up and nailed it together and made, wood boxes more or less, and started painting. I painted Lightning Hopkins and Robert Johnson and just put them all over the walls of my house. As friends would come by, they were surprised at how neat it was, right? I mean, I got compliment after compliment. And I started to think to myself, hey, there's a chance this might turn into something. So I got about 15 more pieces done, and I went to a local gallery on Congress Avenue here in Austin, which is no longer there anymore, but they specialize in folk art, which is kind of what I call it, right? It's Southern looking primitive art. And that guy was nuts for it and sold out of everything inside of like 2 weeks. So really? I almost had no choice, right? I mean, it was that quick.
Right.
And then I started doing the t-shirts and everything else because I was like, well, I can't paint fast enough to make people happy.
Right. Right.
It was one of those, but it didn't continue to skyrocket like that. It got to a certain level where I could afford to live, and it tapered out.
Right. But still, I mean, the way that I found you was because there was no cool blues art. And a lot of people think they think I'm a metalhead, because I mean, look,
it's totally understandable.
But I did not like. I'm a big blues fan. I'm a big Stevie Ray, Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson fan. I mean, because when you look back at all the good bands throughout history, every one of them ripped off blues music, right? I mean, Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith.
If you're gonna steal something good. That's why they went there.
Well, and that's the reason. My first introduction to Robert Johnson was what's the name from Zeppelin? I can't even think of the singer's name. Robert Plant. Okay, and basically, I was reading some of his lyrics, and it said, it was
the Squeeze My Lemon line. That one.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap! It's a blatant ripoff, So that made me go out and find the Robert Johnson box set. And this is like when I was 14, 15, and from that point on, I was just like always like I've probably seen BB King 7 times. I've seen a lot of the other guys, Buddy Guy. It's just it's just a form of music that anybody could really relate to, right? So what made you do your first painting of some kind of blues guy, and what was the first painting, and is it available on the website?
The first one sold a few years ago. I refused to get rid of it for the longest time, and it was a gentleman from Memphis named Furry Lewis. And Furry Lewis, interesting character who played a very kind of primitive style of blues, slide. Not particularly the best guitar player you've ever heard or singer. He lost a leg hopping a train. Yeah, real great. I mean, just the prototypical blues story. And that was the CD that I was listening to at the time, so I just went there. But after that, I went Texas for a while because that's where I'm at. Lightning Hopkins, Mance Lipscomb.
Right. Guys. Yeah, no, I mean, the only reason I found you, like I said, was because I was looking up cool blues art for the walls here. And I had a similar, situation as you. When I moved here, I was like, I have nothing to hang up on the walls, right? And I got a bunch of Dobros and a bunch of fucking Les Pauls and Strats, and I was like, I don't want to just hang up the guitar, like a normal thing, and not have anything around it, and not really show the meaning of the guitar, when somebody sees it. So that's why I bought a bunch of your stuff. I mean, literally, like I think you have prints on your website for like $20 a piece, right? And they're fairly big prints.
Yeah, 12 by
And
18. Yeah.
I went to Michael's and spent $280 framing every one of those things, and they're still up to this day right now. And you're the only guy whose art I have in my bedroom. Okay, so it's like
The things it's seen.
yeah, you don't even know, right? So it's really like if anybody's interested, I'm going to show a couple of these pieces off, and if you want to go to the website, it's MojoHand.com, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so this guy is incredible. Now you're also a player, right?
Correct. Yes. Probably I've been doing that here in Austin for about 20 years. Been on stage for that long. I taught myself how to play about a year after I got to Austin when I moved here in 1990.
Okay. All right.
And, that it's just something you do when you live in Austin. I think after a while, everybody joins a band here at some point or another.
Well, Austin is one of those places like New Orleans and fucking Nashville where you could go somewhere for lunch and there'll be a live band, right?
That's true. Although Austin has lost some of that charm. It used to have a lot more venues, and we kind of call it Condo City, USA now, because so many of the old places, Liberty Lunch and bars like that, they're just gone. They flattened them and put a steakhouse there.
Right. Right.
Can't have enough steakhouses. We are in Texas, I suppose.
No, I understand that. Yeah, when I was in LA, it wasn't the heyday of Hollywood. It was probably about 20 years after that. But you even saw the destruction of the venues, due to hotels moving in and expensive restaurants, and what used to be cool is now a Starbucks. And it's just a rough transition to go into. But when you started playing, are you a solo guy or did you have a band?
Well, I mean, the first band I was in was a 5-piece, and I'm exceptionally grateful for that because I couldn't play well enough to not have 4 guys fixing everything around me. Right.
Right.
I mean, I'd go off the deep end and things would get terrible. Now it's all trios now, and I play guitar, sing, and play foot percussion, 2 different electronic drums with my feet.
Oh, really?
Okay. So I just have a bass player and a harmonica player with me, so that when I decide to noodle for a solo for 30 minutes, they can kind of keep the floor down for me.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what's your band called now?
It's called Grego Anderson and Down and Out.
Down and Out. Okay,
yes,
cool.
And Down and Out. Occasionally they're different guys, but I'm right. All me, and that's nice. So
and this is probably going to get a little too into the weeds here, but what gear do you use?
Let's see. I play an Epiphone Casino semi-hollow body with P90 pickups. I've got just a little Fender tube amp, little 15 watter.
Right.
2 Roland drum units, one that's a kick drum and one that's a snare. And that's about it. Although I do have a gold tone thin body dobro, I guess you call it, lipstick pickup.
Right. Okay.
And I've got a gold top and a Strat. Everyone in Austin has a Strat. This is
right. I would assume so. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's I mean, I remember Austin City Limits. Like I'm old enough to remember that, but that's not been around for years, right?
No, they still film it, but now they film it in this big moody theater auditorium. It always looked like it was outside.
Right.
It never was outside. That was a sound studio kind of over by UT, as I recall.
Oh, but, okay.
Yeah, they still do it. It's not quite as down homey as it used to be. There were a lot of locals, and although the scene here has changed so much, you know, there was the Vaughn brothers and that cast of characters.
Yeah, well, that was a while back, though, right? I mean, what's the Austin scene now, really?
You know, there's a lot of. Have you ever heard of the band Spoon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a lot of that kind of sound. Now we still have our country guys, and then the bread and butter of Austin is that Austin sound, which is the Fabulous Thunderbirds meets country music. Like the licks, you know, you put country licks in your rock song, blues licks in your country song.
Right.
It all just works, right? And it sounds like this town. But even that is starting to go away. The guitar slingers aren't as easy to spot.
Well, yeah. Well, especially now being that like you don't even have to learn an instrument to be in a band anymore. You know. So that's one of the reasons I like Nashville, Memphis, even Las Vegas, believe it or not, is getting to be a big rock and roll town now.
Mm-hmm.
But you're planning a move pretty soon too, right?
Yeah. We've been trying to get to the Gulf side of Florida for about a year and a half, trying to get to St. Pete, somewhere as close to the barrier island as we can, so we can go enjoy the beach a little bit. I mean, I'm 54 now, and if I wait until I'm 70, I won't be able to really, get up
won't be able to enjoy it.
Like, so yeah, thought we'd try it now. Plus, there's so many blues festivals in Florida, and I want to take my company, in a tent and go set up at all these things.
Right. Of course, yeah.
I had set up at the first two Austin City Limits festivals way back when that started down at Zilker Park. And a lot of fun and a lot of people, get 100,000 people through there, but hardly any of them were blues people. Right. And if I can get to a blues festival, I'm probably going to have 75% of that's my target people. These are people that maybe don't even know I exist, because as great as the internet is, it's the same thing as getting in somebody's face. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, the Reptile people do the same thing for their shows, But normal, I think I saw when we were on tour, I believe I saw Johnny Lang in Florida, and I think at the time he was something like fucking 7 years old or something like that. He was he was like 14 maybe, and I remember looking at this dude, and I'm like, what comes so natural to this dude, I had to work my whole life at.
Yeah.
It almost made me want to throw away my stuff and just go home,
Chris, funny story about Johnny Lang. So I was in a band called the Twilight Trio for about 6 years with one of my best friends in the world. His name is Jeff Hayes. He's also my realtor. And he was in a band in Minneapolis called the Big Bang. And his guitar player taught Johnny Lang how to play guitar. And eventually they became Johnny Lang and the Big Bang.
Really?
So my buddy was his bass player. And then when they got signed, the record label said, you don't need that band.
Right.
We'll get you a band. And then, But I played golf with Johnny, and because he's still good friends with my buddy.
And,
whenever they're down here. Nice. He's a super nice kid and taller than, he's like 6'4". And
no, he wasn't 6'4" at 14, but he was still he's still a bigger kid. But that was during that time where they signed him. He had a hit, I believe, and then they signed Kenny Wayne Shepherd, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was all about the same time. Right when Stevie died, there was that gap, and record companies realized there was some money to be made by filling it. Right.
And Kenny Wayne Shepherd was killing it too.
I mean, he sounds pretty darn close to Stevie. I mean, he figured that bag of tricks out.
Yeah, well, he's still killing it. I mean, they're just doing I think the 25th anniversary tour of Trouble Is the 30th.
Chris Layton, Stevie's drummer, I believe, is playing with Kenny Wayne.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want the seal of approval, I mean, if you got a guy from his band,
right, that would be the guy. Yeah,
I think so.
I'm a big Kenny Wayne fan, but he didn't come here during this last tour. So I'm hoping he comes through this summer on some kind of festival at the beach or whatever. Now a lot of your art, let's go back to that for a little bit,
Okay.
is stories that are heard in blues music, like the crossroads, the
Mhm.
contract with the devil.
Oh,
What's your favorite blues story that you put down onto an art piece?
I mean, I am fascinated with what I consider the mythology of the blues. I mean, we all know that nobody sold their soul to the devil to learn how to play
Right,
guitar. It's a brilliant marketing campaign, and Robert Johnson wasn't even the only guy to use it.
right,
Petey Wheatstraw did it. He was the devil's son-in-law, the high sheriff of hell. He also called himself. And I think Tommy Johnson was actually kind of did that too. There was more than one of those guys. But for me, my favorite thought about this, and I think Clapton was the same way, and a bunch of the guys that fell in love with Robert Johnson in the beginning, was at that time there was only 2 pictures of him, and we only had kind of stories about how it was that he died.
right,
Poisoned by a jealous husband, which was
right.
standard thing. And I did a painting one time, and it was he was on kind of like a tombstone shaped, round on the top kind of wood thing that I put together. And it said, what does it say? He had a hellhound on his trail and a glass of poison whiskey set him free. That's what I wrote on there, because, he had that hellhound on my trail song was a big
Right.
I kind of thought it was like fitting that his own lifestyle got him away from the devil that was chasing him.
Right. No, is that on the website now?
No, that thing sold back in like 1996.
Do you have a limited amount of prints that you'll end up doing for something, or once it's available, is it available forever?
Well, I mean, the stuff that I sell in prints, like actually this thing is behind me, really
Right.
big. Like those things weren't paintings to start with. They're things that I create digitally with a digital tablet and draw them, and they're just to be prints, and those are not like limited editions, which is why they're $20 a piece, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that way I can just sign them and people can have something cool, and doesn't cost anybody so much money that it's prohibitive.
Right.
I mean,
And do you have a place that basically prints everything and ships it out, like a drop ship type of place?
I do it all right here in my office, in the 1 bedroom of a small house in South Austin, which
that's insane to me, man, because I would imagine that is this your full-time gig?
this is all I do. Yes.
It's all you do, right? So
I mean, I also do freelance graphic design. I mean, I've been doing that for 30 years, but I mean, 90% of everything I do is MojoHand.com.
Okay, gotcha.
Coming up with new things to draw, coming up with new things to paint, new t-shirt designs, and just constantly making stuff.
But now we could just talk about, you have a few concert posters that you did on your site.
Mhm.
Now people could hire you out for stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, that happens quite a bit. I mean, I'll like a lot of the stuff on the site was either from the band or the promoter or the club. I mean, it's going to be one of those 3 things. But a lot of bands have come right to me. The Wood Brothers came right to me. I've done a ton of stuff for the Green Hall, the oldest dance hall in Texas, which is just down the road from me. It's a really cool building. It's like an old grain mill. I've seen Buddy Guy in there a half dozen times, I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, your type of art really lends to that kind of old school, 20s,
Yeah, it's all I like for some reason. I like things made out of wood that don't have any finish on them. I like things that are all worn and
Right.
chipping paint. I think is fascinating. I don't know why.
No, I think anything distressed is fucking awesome. Yeah. So I will take that any day of the week, as opposed to black frame, sleek.
Plus you can't fuck it up, right? It's already got a chip.
Right, it's already fucked up. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
nothing worse than buying a new car, right, and parking it at the grocery store.
Yeah,
who knows who's gonna ding that thing up?
Yeah, within the first 4 hours that you own it. Yeah,
I'd rather buy one that's been through a hailstorm, to be honest with you.
Yep, that's the way to go. Now, do you go about blues festivals and blues shows like throughout the country? Are you a traveling guy? Do you go outside of your element to sell these things? Like, where would, if somebody wanted to buy one of your pieces, whether it's the printed stuff or original stuff, do you go to places that they could find you at?
I have not done that yet. That is definitely something we're going to do in Florida. I mean, I will be all over that. There's like 7 or 8 festivals I'll be setting up every year there.
Right.
I have a really good friend in Clarksdale, Mississippi, that owns a place called Cathead Delta Blues Folk Art. And his name is Roger Stoley. He's basically kind of like the quasi-mayor of Clarksdale. Ground zero, they call that, where the crossroads are.
Right.
And he carries a bunch of my stuff down there.
Okay.
Since he's right there. I thought about moving there at one point, but I was like, man, I don't know if I can live in a small town in Mississippi after living in Austin. The speed of life might not be right. Now that I'm 54, I'm thinking, I should have done that. Because
I'm 49.
Yeah.
And I used to have a ranch in Colorado, and I just kick myself in the ass every day for just selling that. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You fucking idiot. So I get that, but I'm a city guy that wants the small town stuff, and and I know that because the second we moved back to LA from Colorado, I was missing Colorado. I mean, I really wasn't missing it that much while I was there. Okay, I got to be honest, because I was just getting used to small town stuff. Like I think there was maybe 100,000 people in the city I was in, and it was growing, but like if Staples didn't have ink, you'd have to wait 9 days to get the ink, for the truck to come over the mountain, and
if the weather was good.
I got pulled over at a supermarket once for not putting a shopping cart back. Please excuse this brief interruption for a word from one of our sponsors. How fucking thrilled am I to have Focus Cubed Habitats joining the Snakes and the Fat Man family. They are literally the best display cages that I've ever owned. I was a fan of this husband and wife team of builders from when they were putting out these amazing pieces of fucking art from their garage. Stephen and Ashley have been keeping reptiles for years, and as experienced keepers, they understand how important your animals are in your life. Focus Cubed Habitats provide security and comfort for your animals while maintaining these insane, badass designs that everyone can appreciate. They give you the opportunity to make their home part of your home. You want options? They've got options. Every Focus Cubed Habitat is custom made to your specs, and you could choose from hundreds of options on their website. Too many options? Ashley and Steven have a huge selection of blog-style articles and complete accessory fact pages on their website to help educate consumers about add-ons that will best fit their individual needs. Listen, at the end of the day, these fucking cages are showpieces. Every cage that Focus builds will be the centerpiece of your reptile room. Hell, they could be the centerpiece of your fucking living room. If you have reptiles that you want to display, look no further than Focus Cubed Habitats. You can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and even fucking TikTok. Or just go old school and go right to FocusCubedHabitats.com and tell them that the Fat Man told you to drop them a line. And I was just like, fuck this place, But the second I moved, I was like, damn, I miss open space and hate. I'm not a big people fan, so to be around people. And it's strange because I spent my, late 20s and 30s in these clubs and these giant halls and, surrounded by people. And now in my 40s, I'm like, man, fuck these people. They're just all idiots.
There's some sort of internal switch that clicks on us all, I think, where we're like, I'm done with everybody's fucking nonsense at this point. Just done with it, right? Y'all stay over there. I'm gonna be over here. If I come over, we'll talk.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. Like, what about my face right now makes you think I'm even remotely interested in talking to you? Yeah, you know. So, and nowadays, you know, if I go to Texas or Tennessee, I got to take like 3 days off from my regular job when I get back just to recoup from people, you know? So it's, I think we get along.
Are you a crazy magnet? Do you get like the weirdest fuckers coming up to you?
Sometimes. What I realized as I get older is I'm a pussy I don't want magnet. Okay, so that's that's what I've noticed about myself. But in that, you know, magnetism attracts the crazy too a lot of times. So I try to avoid the crazy and I try to avoid the drama. But being in the reptile game, it's kind of hard, you know, to avoid it because there's always some asshole doing some stupid thing that makes you want to call them out, you know. And it's in the reptile business, it's a lot of the oh, I'm gonna spend $700 and make $1 million in a year kind of thing. And
more people would be doing that if that was possible. But
well, you know, the problem was with COVID. You know, with COVID, everybody was getting free money, and they were buying reptiles, thinking that they could breed, and you know that they couldn't go to their regular job because either that got shut down or was closed or they were on hiatus. So everybody started doing this, and now you're seeing the fallout from that. Okay, you know, 2 or 3 years later.
I never thought that would be a side hustle. Breeding reptiles would be.
Oh my God, dude! I mean, the good people are making 100, 200 grand a year off it. The top people are making millions, you know. But there's a whole bunch of other people that are making dozens or not even dozens. You know,
now you're in the music business when you're
that's what I'm saying. That's why I figured you could relate. You know that meme that it was like pack up $5,000 worth of gear to travel 500 miles to make $50. You know.
Oh man, Austin, Texas. I call it the $50 a man capital of the world. The price, it's been the same since the 90s. That's what you get. You get $50. That's why I'm in trios now, because if I had a 5-man band again, we'd get 20.
Right.
I had to get rid of people because they weren't going to raise the, you know.
Is there a lot of pay to play in Austin?
I know it's coming. I'm at the age now where I am not hanging out with the people that are playing down on what we call Dirty Sixth Street, you know, what used to be a thing, but is now just terrible. I'm sure there's a couple venues that are doing pay to play.
Yeah. That's all it was in LA. I mean, when we were coming up, it was like, here, you give me $2,000, and if you sell these tickets, you could make $3,000. And it was a pain in the ass, but you know, it really, as much as I hated it, it kind of separated the better bands from the shit bands.
Sure.
You know? And that was, you know, that was the good part of it. Plus it made you work, you know, because you know, hanging out on Sunset, handing out flyers, it's basically like saying, here, you throw this out, you know, because that's exactly what they're going to do with it. So I would imagine that Austin would probably just be a smaller microcosm of that, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure that the club owners are desperate for it to become that.
Right.
So we just had South by Southwest here. Ended up, right? I went out to this little hole in the wall honky tonk that's in deep South Austin that you can't get 60 people in there. But every year during South by Southwest, they have like one band every 30 minutes. And it's just, and they're all from out of town. And sometimes you find a gem, right? And I saw one this time, and for the life of me, I can't remember their name. It was a girl's name, like Taylor Honeycutt. I don't remember what it was. Great 5-piece kind of like dirty blues country act, right? They were hot, like well rehearsed. Talked to them the next day. And they were like, yeah, we play about 200 shows a year. This is our first South by Southwest. We're never coming back. I'm like, what happened? They're like, we played 12 gigs in 3 days. Nobody ever gave us a beer. One bar paid us $50. They said, we're out about $3,000. We can't even cover our bar tab at this point. We're done. We're out.
Yeah.
Like, I guess people expect something other than that because they're not from here. And I'm just thinking, man,
but
you ain't getting paid in this town.
I would tend to think, though, that's kind of all over, because I remember when we were just coming up and we'd bring 300 people to the show, that, to a place that never had 300 people in its existence, right? And the owner would be like, well, you brought in 300 people, here's $22. And I'm just like, what? Like, how do people live, which immediately made me have to get a job. To just make ends meet when you're making that kind of money. But I do remember, the first show where we got paid big money, and then I was like, oh, that makes it all worth it. But you only try to justify it in your head because it's absolutely not worth it.
Oh, yeah,
So,
you hadn't even broke even when you got that first big check.
Yeah, seriously.
For so long you'd forgotten.
Yeah. Well, that's what that's again a relatable thing to the reptile business, because you have to keep these reptiles for 2, 3, 4, 5 years just for them to even be breedable. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time they're breedable, if you're lucky, they're worth half of what you paid for them. So any babies that come out, you have twice the uphill battle to kind of just break even. And I'm not saying that there's people that haven't done it, because a lot of people do figure out a way, but most of the people, like most of the musicians that I know, just don't. There's normally a fire sale every couple of years, just like with musicians that are selling, $8,000 Les Paul for like $1,100. So it's very similar as far as worlds go. Just different things to compare it to, Now, would you say now that you're doing art more than playing music?
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. I mean, I was playing music a lot more before COVID. There's a lot more places to play, for instance, and in the trios that I were in, a lot of those were restaurant happy hour gigs.
Right.
And of course, when that happened, it was all gone. And a lot of those places never even came back. And so I kind of just went, and it was like, all right, well, art's got to carry the bucket, as it was.
Right.
And I've just kept that way. And then as I thought that I was going to be moving to Florida a year and a half ago, and things got a little off that, I wasn't going to get 2 guys and make them rehearse, knowing that I was liable to leave at any minute.
Just to leave, yeah.
And why book gigs 3 months away so that you can call up these guys and say, sorry, I moved,
Right.
I just didn't want to be that guy. And we just started playing again just because I like the 2 guys. I'm they know what the deal is now. It's like, all right, we're only booking gigs 1 month ahead, and it's not going to be very often. It's just so we can do this a few more times before we're not living in the same city.
Right. And really just doing it for fun. Like you're past that age of going out and trying to get a record deal, right?
Oh, well, that'd be a terrible idea anyway, I believe, at this point.
Yeah.
Much rather do it the Dave Matthews way and just sell my own T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the problem too is like with Spotify and with Apple Music, what do you gotta sell like 10,000 songs just to make $4?
No, now you're giving the music away to try and sell them a T-shirt. That is all this is now.
Right. It used to be where you release a record and you go on tour to finance that record, right?
Yeah.
And now you're going on tour to hopefully finance the record instead, or it's the other way around. I was talking to one guy who was in a big 80s band, and he was like, we make more money now just recording our own CDs and selling them independently than the record company ever paid us, you know? So I think that's the way that the whole music thing is going now. But also, I haven't heard a fucking rock band on the radio, in years, So, I don't. I'm so removed from that world right now that I don't even know who the up and coming people are that are good. But like, who do you think is some of your up and coming blues artists that are good? Who could you turn me on?
I mean, John Tavius Willis is great. I really like that Kingfish, Christone.
Oh, what's your name? And he got his notice on YouTube or Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's legit.
Yeah.
Him and John Tavius are definitely legit. There's a Andrew Ali, who's a harmonica player. There's actually quite a few of them out there, but you've got to dig. Like,
right.
As much as I hated corporate radio back in the 80s, at least they gave you a place to start. I mean, you'd hear some songs, you'd be like, oh, I like that. Where are they from? Oh, they're Southern California. Let me find out all the other bands from that area.
Right.
That's how grunge worked, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it
gets out of Seattle. Then you look at everything in Seattle, you find 3 more, and then you move on.
Right.
Hard to do that now.
1 second here. I just gotta X this guy. Yeah. Well, the grunge thing really killed my kind of music. Like, I really liked those 80s kind of blues-based rock bands. Then grunge came along, and
oh man,
I didn't like anything since 1991. Maybe 92.
Man, I loved a band called Junkyard, and then there was the Sea Hags out of Seattle. I loved them, and then they just got just crushed by the.
Yeah, they just got obliterated. Even like Mother Love Bone out of Seattle got.
Oh man, they were so good, and then when he died,
right, that screwed everything up.
Yeah,
and then Pearl Jam. Yeah, I think Pearl Jam had members of Mother Love Bone, right?
Yeah, I think it was everybody except for the singer. I think that was just Mother Love Bone, and then they just dropped Eddie Vedder in there.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. But yeah, I was into a lot of the 80s and early 90s bands out of Hollywood. Like kind of like the sleaze rock, like the LA Guns and the Fast Cats, and
dude, I had down to here. I was a monstrous metalhead in the 80s and early 90s.
Well, the thing is that all of those bands, like I named, have these blues riffs that if you know the blues, you just listen to their song and you go, oh yeah, I could do that. So that was one of the benefits of those bands that came out. Now, what are you doing like art-wise? How many new pieces do you put out a year specifically for the website?
There's got to be. I probably do at least 100 paintings every year. There's probably at least 50 prints, new designs, and then a half dozen T-shirts. And then that stuff will also work its way into being stickers or hats. Like I'll pull a piece of it off and put it somewhere else. And I have to be clever about my merchandising and try and.
Right.
I think of each piece of art as being my employee because I'm the only employee, right? And I can't afford anybody to help me at all. So yeah, I think of every design. All right, you're my little employee. Go out there and see if you can't make some money for us.
Right.
I can, make a sticker out of it or a coffee mug, which I've never made coffee mugs. Not sure where that came from, but you follow me.
Yeah. Well, and do you would you do logos for companies or for bands? Do you do that type of thing?
Tons of them. Yeah, tons of them. Not just bands either. I for a while, it seemed like I was specializing by accident in doing restaurant rebrands, and I mean, how it started, I can't even tell you. But I did a ton of stuff for restaurant chains, just out of the blue one year, and then a year later, it was magazine covers, and it wasn't even about music. Like I was drawing historical figures and
Right.
I never know what it's going to be. Like, I guess people just see something somewhere and track me down. And
Right. Well, a lot of people look for logos in the reptile business because every week there's 20 new
Mhm.
reptile people that have a name and have a sticker and have a logo, but they have no reptiles. They haven't produced one reptile, right? So, there's a lot of people looking for logos now. So, fucking, if if people need logos, and I'd like to tell them, you're one of the guys to contact to at
Oh,
least get a
absolutely.
price, and also like the posters that you do. Really, I think that there's an untapped market for reptile people to do posters and reptile show promoters to do posters because your posters, like for I believe you had like a Gary Moore poster
Mhm.
and a couple other dudes. I mean they're just so fucking great. And he's not going to do it for fucking $100, people. Okay, so you got to make it worth it for him. But I mean, really, this is one of the guys to go to for for posters, for logos. I know I'm not supposed to say that because I have a corporate logo sponsor on this show,
I'm sure they're
but
also excellent.
but also, yeah, it's a totally different kind of style that you would bring
Mhm.
to it. But like, I love your little skeleton guy that shows up in a lot of your
Oh, yeah, 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 that was that again, that's that blues mythology thing, right?
right.
That lonesome guy being chased by the devil. You can see it right there. Right.
Right. Yep.
I
I
can't
believe that's one of the pieces that I have in my bedroom.
the born
So
under a bad
the
sign.
part under the bad sign one, yeah. So that's fair warning for any chicks that come over. Okay. So um it is what it is. But when I went back to your page and I saw that you were doing these big canvas prints now, I was just like, yeah, we're gonna need a couple of those,
Mhm. Yeah, those
Um,
things turn out great too. I mean,
they
it's
they they really do. Yeah. I mean, and for them, it's so cheap. Like, I definitely think that you could up the price a little bit.
yeah,
And
I probably could, but at the same point, it's I don't want to alienate people out of this thing, right? Like
right,
it's like blues is the people's music. I want my art to be like people stuff.
yeah,
I just
affordable.
yeah, I don't want to be some guy that's in a gallery somewhere and I'm not
Right. Mm.
touchable,
Well,
talk toable.
what could someone do to get an actual painting from you?
I there is a spot on my website in the folk art section where there's commissions that are in
Okay,
there. Right? And then of course they could just go to the contact me button at mojohand.com. I mean, I've
well,
painted all sorts of things, people's dogs, their grandparents, them
right.
holding a guitar that they've never played in their lives,
Well,
whatever it may be, right?
but do you have anything that's just an original that you did that's available?
Oh yeah, there's probably 30 or 40 paintings under the art
Really?
by Grego section over there. Yeah.
Okay. And also, I noticed that you had some other artists on there.
Yeah, I carry two people that I met right when I started. A guy named Dan Dalton, who is he's like a male practical nurse. I think that's what you call that, up in like around Portland somewhere.
Right.
Really cool dude. Paints slightly more primitive style than I do, and he likes to glue like wooden nickels all over everything. He's just a really cool guy. He's sold a lot of paintings. And then a bass player, blues bass player out of Albuquerque, named JD Sipe, who is a way better musician than me, and his paintings are just tremendous. They're real small,
Right.
but he cuts like parts off of tin soda cans and then folds them up and makes those people's ties or hat bands on the painting.
Right.
So it's like,
Okay.
yeah, it's really neat stuff. And I just figured I'd kind of help them out. They both seem like really nice guys, and I was like, hey man, the website gets a lot of eyes, so let's see if it helps out. And I
Yeah.
didn't Yeah, I didn't beat up like galleries. Galleries generally charge people 50% commission.
Oh
Right?
yeah, yeah, easily, yeah.
Yeah, and then I did not beat those guys up like that. So
Yeah, it's that's a little rough. It's like YouTube. Like YouTube, if somebody gives you money, YouTube just takes half of it right away, and they're like, "Here, you could have what's left."
Mhm.
So that's I mean that's kind of typical as far as what people take nowadays. I'm sure like even the big sites like OnlyFans and Patreon, that they do take a certain portion, of the money. Do you have a Patreon for
No, that I've never done that. I mean, I also sell some stuff on Etsy and eBay,
Right.
and even on Reverb.com, that musical instrument site.
Right.
And they all take the cuts they take. It's not as bad as Amazon. I've looked into Amazon. I'm like, oh no, I don't think I'm willing to give you all that. So
Oh yeah, I have a friend that's an author on Amazon, and they do take a lot of money out, but she's really made a hell of a lot of money, from it.
If I was gonna do that, I would have had to make up for it, with volume.
Right.
And then I couldn't do all this by myself. Now I'd have to have like a little warehouse spot and a couple people working for me, and then I'd be paying taxes and insurance and
Right. All the fun stuff. Yeah.
no interest in that growing up in that way.
Right.
I'm as adult as I want to be right now.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, you're maintaining a living doing this, obviously. And you just got married recently, right?
Absolutely. Just about a month ago, I think.
And is your wife an artist too?
She is not. She is. I'm sure she could be if she wanted to, but she's been in the roofing supply sales business for 30 years. She used to be a storm chaser. That's what they called it. And they would follow hurricanes and whatever all around the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, like any artist, it helps to have a spouse that has a real job, right?
Oh, she's got insurance.
Thank God for that insurance, right? Exactly. That's what most of these snake people do. They're like, man. My wife's a nurse, so I'm okay. I could be a full-time snake breeder.
Yeah. Once you hit the age of 50, it's surprising how important health insurance becomes.
Oh, dude, please. Once I hit the age of 40, it was like, all right,
you're on the road for a while. That'll take its toll on a body.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It all, you have that fun knowing that the date is going to come when you got to pay, pay it.
Just like a gallon of milk.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, when I was in a band and all that, the question was, what if Chris has a stroke? The question always was, when Chris has a stroke, what are you going to do? So luckily, if you think that way, you're playing ahead a little bit. Now, have you ever done anything for any of the bigger guys like that, where you're like, oh man, I got to do this for BB King, or I got to do this for Buddy Guy?
All the stuff I did for them was through venues or through promoters, so it was never for those guys. Although I met both those guys at shows.
Right.
The biggest one that I did was the actor Hugh Laurie, who was Dr. House on the TV.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and that guy in England, he's won Tony Awards, and I think he's got an Oscar.
Right.
And he also has a blues band, the Copper Mountain Blues Band, Copper Barrel Blues. Sorry, Hugh, if you're out there. I designed a bunch of stuff for his touring stage show. Right, he had me paint this huge thing that went around. He plays piano, among other things, and it was made out of these old wooden doors, and it was screwed together with hinges. And I painted Sun House and Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters, and maybe Lead Belly was on the other side of it. And this thing toured from the Soviet Union to South America with him. Like, my art was huge part of the stage show. And then when he came to Austin, we went and we hung out for an evening, and I took him to go see Paul Osher, who was living here at the time. It was Muddy Waters' old harmonica player. And then I got to go backstage at the Paramount Theater with him. He was a super nice dude. Probably, of all the, famous people I worked with, that was the one that I got to kind of know,
Right.
on the phone, just like regular people.
Right. Now, when you do these things for the venues, do they have a specific thing in mind, or do they just tell you, do what you do?
Yeah, they pretty much just say, yeah, do that thing that you do, and then we need it by this day. I mean, sometimes when the bands hire me or the promoter of the band hires me, sometimes they want to see a couple sketches.
Right.
Which is fine. I had to just preload that into the price.
Right.
Go. But, I think it always works better if they just let me do what I do. I've been doing it for 32 years.
Right. Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, I would assume that you have a fairly definitive style of stuff.
Yeah. If you sought me out, you pretty much know what you're getting already. So
right.
It's like I always say, I don't go to the dentist and demand to have a mirror in front of me so I can tell him how to fix my teeth.
Right. You just tell him to do it.
I assume that, he's been doing this for a bit. I should probably just stay the hell out of
it. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, dude, I mean, thank you so much for actually taking the time. How could people get in touch with you if they want something done, or if they want some of this amazing fucking art on your website, so that they could be more like the Fat Man and have MojoHand fucking art in their house?
I mean, the best thing to do is just come to mojohand.com. You can look at everything that's there. There's a contact me button on it. Might even say contact us, which is ridiculous because it's just me. Right? Anytime you email anything there, I get it. Right. You can find me on Facebook as Grego Anderson, just as a person. I'll go with that. And there's a MojoHand Facebook as well. I think it's /everything blues. Okay. I mean, I'm online all day long.
Your Instagram is mojohand.com. It's DOT.
Yeah, all spelled out. Yeah.
I was shocked when I did an order and then I got a thank you from you. All right. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I figured I would get a thank you, like an automated reply or something.
Oh man, if I can only afford a robot.
It's literally just you doing all of this shit.
Oh man, I drive the stuff to the post office.
Yeah. Oh man. I do too. So I understand. Okay. Yeah. When somebody buys a shirt, I'm like, oh, I got to go to the post office again. So I totally get that. But dude, thank you so much for taking the time, man. Go spend some time with your wife and chill out. And really, I think people are going to love this. This was a big thing for me to talk to you. So I totally appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you, Chris. And thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show.
Thank you, brother. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
All right. Take care.
Geeky Geckos is Arizona's largest gecko breeder, and they're helping usher the Fat Man into the leopard gecko space. They have a really popular YouTube channel for education, care, and breeding, and all that other fun shit. And they have an active community on Instagram, Facebook, and Discord over at Geeky Gecko Creations. Oh, since they're in Arizona and it's fucking 98 degrees there in the winter, they could ship year round. Plus, if you buy from them, they basically have free consultations about your collection for life. That's forever and ever. Call or text Frank today at 480-299-7657 with any questions or inquiries that you have. That's a fucking man that stands by his shit, that he's willing to give out his fucking cell number to all of you degenerates. There's another Snakes and the Fat Man special with Geeky Gecko Creations. It's hard to fucking say. There's a special 10% discount on all applicable animals using code SATFM10 at checkout. Go check out Frank and his awesome fucking animals at geekygeckocreations.com. Guys, thanks for sticking around for the entire episode. If you had fun today, be like all these cool motherfuckers right here in the Reptile Cool Guy Club, the only Reptile Cool Guy Club on the fucking planet. All right? You know why we're so cool? because we don't have a toxic Discord. Patreon.com/snakesandthefatman is where you could go to laugh and fucking have a little bit of fun and get access to videos and discounts and all the other fun stuff. But no toxic Discord, okay? We don't play that shit here. Patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. The Zoom call, once a month now. Normally it's at the end of the month. We had a Zoom call while I was in Tennessee from the hotel room, fulfilling hundreds of women's fantasies about being alone in a hotel room with the Fat Man. I gotta be honest, I felt very good that night. And don't forget to keep an eye out for the next Fat Man Live, where I bring you the most gorgeous reptile-adjacent women in the hobby. We're really having fun with that one. Crystal Crabtree was on last night from Visually Impressive Python Morphs up in Canada, and she fucking killed it. And she fucking is slowly changing my mind about Canada. I mean, if fucking women look that good in Canada, you kind of can't hold, dumb shitheads against them. Finally, catch the next episode of Bronx Down Under tomorrow night. That's May 2nd. You can see I'm rocking my co-host shirt here, Lizard Morphs. Me, Bryan, and Luke are having a great time with that fucking show. And tomorrow night, because of the death of Jerry Springer this week, the subject is going to be talk shows. So that show is really fucking crushing it right now. And probably is my favorite show to do. So anyway, watch that show tomorrow night on May 2nd at 8 o'clock p.m. Go subscribe, follow, friend me on all the socials, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if you do that, but join the Patreon, because that actually helps the channel out. Patreon.com/snakesandthefatman. Thanks for hanging around, guys. You literally have no idea how much I appreciate it. And I'll see you right back here in 2 weeks, but hopefully I'll see you sooner on one of the other shows or the Zoom call. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye. Everyone talks their own shit about what kind of racks you should buy. Metal racks are great, but everyone doesn't want a goddamn 7-foot high, 6-foot wide, 2,000-pound metal rack in their fucking house. That's a 2-refrigerator footprint, man. 2 fucking refrigerators. Serpents makes insane quality racks that could fit anywhere. They're stackable PVC racks that are living room friendly, and they're shipped fully assembled with heat tape already installed. Just plug it into a thermostat and you're ready to go. When we had the shop, we had over 20 Sea Serpent racks there before they ever became a sponsor of Snakes and the Fat Man. I don't breed much anymore these days, but I still have a few racks here in my house, and you could be goddamn sure that they're Sea Serpents. Oh, and they also make hotbox incubators, probably the best reptile incubators made in America. At the height of our breeding business, we had 4 4-foot hotbox incubators, and again, I still have a small hotbox incubator here in case anything I keep actually does breed. Go to SeaSerpents.com and check out their incredible selection of PVC racks, and tell Chris Nettles that the Fat Man sent you.